Narayana namaskritya narom cheva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam Sujaya Mudire Astapai Supadre Sunityam Bhava Sevaya Bhavaduddhamastuki Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. This afternoon we'll have a topic that we're partly used to, but at the same time there's something unusual about it. In spiritual life it's unusual. In material life it's quite common. But in spiritual life it's quite unusual. And we'll explain why, by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, about why spiritually it is unusual. So it will help us to grow in our Krishna consciousness. The text for this is taken from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 22. Chapter 5, text 22. I don't know whether you supply books today, so I don't know. But read books.
The Bhagavad Gita.
It's nice to follow. Chapter 5, text 22. Chapter 5, text 22. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Okay, so I'm going to say the text and kindly request you to follow, repeating after me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, Kama Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness, chapter 5, text 22. So please repeat after me. Ye, He, Samsparsha, Ja, Bhoga, Dukkha, Yonaya, Jiva, Te, Adi, Antavanta, Konteya, Na, Teshu, Ramate, Buddha, Yehi Samsparshaja Bhoga, Yehi Samsparshaja Bhoga, Dukkha Yonaya Evate, Dukkha Yonaya Evate, Adyantavanta Konteya, Adyantavanta Konteya, Nate Shuramate Buddha, Nate Shuramate Buddha, Yehi Samsparshaja Bhoga, Dukkha Yonaya Evate, Adyantavanta Konteya, Nate Shuramate Buddha, Yehi Samsparshaja Bhoga, Dukkha Yonaya Evate, Adyantavanta Konteya, Nate Shuramate Buddha. Anyone feels inclined to read it? recite now.
Yehi samsparshaja bhoga.
Yehi samsparshaja bhoga.
Dukhayo naya evata.
Dukhayo naya evata.
Adyantavanta kaunteya.
Adyantavanta kaunteya.
Nateshu ramate buddha.
Nateshu ramate buddha.
One more person.
Yehi samsparshaja bhoga.
Yehi samsparshaja bhoga.
Dukhayo naya evate.
Dukhayo naya evate.
Adyantavanta kaunteya.
Adyantavanta kaunteya.
Nateshu ramate buddha.
Nateshu ramate buddha.
Now please repeat.
Suyo wants to chant, sorry.
You want to say?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yehi samsparshaja bhoga.
Yehi samsparshaja bhoga.
Dukhayo naya evate.
Dukhayo naya evate.
Adyantavanta kaunteya.
Adyantavanta kaunteya.
Nateshu ramate buddha.
Nateshu ramate buddha. Anyone else? All right, we'll do word for word. Yea, those. He, certainly. Samsparshaja, by contact with the material senses. Bhoga, enjoyment. Dukkha, distress. Yonaya, sources of. Eva, certainly. Te, they are. Adi, beginning. Anta, end. Vanta, subject to. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Na, never. Teshu, in those. Ramate, takes delight. Buddha, the intelligent person. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Please repeat. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end. And so the wise man does not delight in them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of the material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? In the Padma Purana it is said, Ramante yoginunante satyanande chit atmani iti rama padena so param bhavma vidiyate. Also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Majjhila chapter 9, text 29. Translation. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Brahma. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, Canto 5, chapter 5, text 1, this is Maharaj Rishabhadeva speaking, it is said, Nayam deho deva bhajam niloke kastan kamal arhate vipujanti tapo devyam putraka dena sarpam suyet Yasmat Brahma Sukham Tvanantam. Translation. My dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters, hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified, and as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the causes of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. Oma Ginat Vidandasya, Gyana Gyana Shalakaya, Chachu Militam Linatasmai Shri Vivema. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Tapitam Nina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Vedati Swapadatikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinandi. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Satani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gauravata Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So, Egi Samspasita Bhoga, Dukkha Yonaya Evate, Adyanta Vanta Kontaya, Nati Suramate Buddha. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and have an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. The title for today's lecture is Overcoming Boredom. Overcoming boredom. So how does that relate to this particular text? Well, Sri Krishna is explaining to Kunti's son, Kunti, son of Kunti, Arjuna. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery. When one understands that life, material life, can be quite miserable, and sometimes there are some hints of so-called pleasure here and there. But for the most part, we have to fight against so many reversals, things that are negative. I remember when I was appeared in this world in Ghana, in West Africa, and they have trucks. And these trucks are used to transport, you are used to transporting goods with trucks, but they put little benches in there so that people can also sit in this. The same trucks with this large numbers of people can fit in a truck like that. And in the front and the back of the truck, they will write some things there, with their own realizations, back of a better way to put it. And many of these trucks, they would write, the common saying is, life is a fight. They write in the local language, but that's the translation. Life is a fight. You have to fight, or Srila Prabhupada says, struggle for existence. So then, if life is that way, then how do we get to the point where some people get bored? Well, the first thing is what Srila Prabhupada talks about here in this particular text. Krishna is saying that an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery. Well, now anybody that's intelligent can understand that immediately. And why would you want to take part in something that makes you miserable? Intelligent people don't do that. They're not going to want to do that anyway. But it says that the sources of misery come about because of contact with the material senses. Now we have a material body, so the senses are material. And this text, Krishna is saying, coming into contact with the material senses is the source of misery. Well, that means that we have to revisit, as they say on the computer, sometimes you do tax, it says revisit. We have to revisit the whole point of how we are contacting material senses in such a way, and do it in such a way that there are no sources of misery, or at least if there are sources of misery, they are severely minimized. That is the task. Well, Sri Krishna says, coming into contact, coming into contact with the material senses causes this misery. There are only two aspects of life. Only two. Material life and spiritual life. That's it. And there are two types of worlds. Material world and spiritual world. And that's it. So if contact with the material senses can cause us misery, then we got only one choice. Spiritual. Material senses is going to give us misery, then we have to look at spiritual and see what that will do for us. But Sri Krishna continues that, dear Arjuna, O son of Kunti, such pleasures that we think we get from material senses, they have a beginning and they have an end. And we have a lot of experience in that. Anything that we do material comes to an end. So Krishna is saying, because these things have a beginning and an end, then a wise man does not delight in them. Well, here is the reason why some people get bored. The reason is, in contact with the material senses, we try to do some things to make us happy materially. And Krishna is already saying that whatever we do materially, it's going to come to an end. So then when it comes to an end, we're not happy anymore. So then we have to try to look at something else to see how that will make us happy. And that's why people go on trips. That's why people try to get some happiness and boarding a luxury ship. But then one of our leaders, his name is His Holiness Deva Amrit Swami, he made a particular observation. He said that, yes, people do go such places looking for a change, and the environment will definitely be different. That is true. Where you go, the environment will be different. But what do? Same things you do at home, you do at those places. Same thing. So he was just basically making the devotees at that time he was teaching, think through what material life can give us versus what spiritual life can give us. So, material senses, Prabhupada is saying in the purport here, they are due to contact with material sense pleasures are due to contact with material senses. It's temporary because the body itself is temporary, which means the intelligent person wants to connect with something that would make him or her permanently happy. Not temporarily happy, but permanently happy. That happens to be the nature of the soul too. The soul is Satchidananda. The soul is eternal. The soul is full of knowledge. And the soul remains happy all of the time. And then we are told that, well, we are not these bodies, we are souls. So how come we're not happy all the time? If we are souls, then we should be happy all the time. The question is, what are we in contact with? The soul? No. The material body. That's what we're using. And that's why there are so many breaks. When we go back to the spiritual world, we will be permanently, constantly happy. The nature of life there is like that. One festival after another, after another, after another, after another. That's the way it is there. And that brings tremendous happiness. Everybody that relates to everybody else relates to them in love. Again, we all, even now, with the way we live here, when you're in love with somebody, that person makes you happy. Just connecting with that person, thinking about them, it makes you happy. And so there is constant love in the spiritual world, constant relationship in love. And that's why the intelligent person, the sadhu, the saint that understands that this is life that makes me happy, does not want to connect with anything that is temporary. On top of that, this material life is such that we face many situations, and the best that we can do is to find a way to counteract the problems that we face. Find a way to counteract the problems that we face. We take this temple room as an example. We know what it is like outside, right? Hot, summer. Now, if there was no fan, it's blowing now, if the air conditioning was not on, we'll be sweating in here. So it feels comfortable, but actually what have we done? We just set up some machines, some devices to try to make this body feel a little more comfortable in this room. Same thing when we get to our cars. Sometimes you can observe when you're driving and it's like 93 degrees and it's very hot. And then you see somebody has their windows open, chances are very high, especially if it's an old car, that the air conditioning is not working. Because they definitely would turn it on. Which means we face one situation after another that is disturbing. Then you might think, but Krishna is supposed to be very loving, very kind, so many wonderful qualities, positive qualities about Krishna. So why would Krishna allow weather like this? Sometimes it gets very, very cold too. Then we have to pile on the layers of clothes and put the clothes on top of that and all of that. Sometimes I look at those who have to stand outside, they don't have cars and they're waiting for a bus. And that time that they're waiting for a bus is brutal when it's cold. It's cold. I went through a little bit of it when I first came to this country and I was in Boston. And Boston is way colder than here, Boston, Massachusetts. And people were driving in their cars and I said, the first thing I need to do, I need to get me a car with some heat in it because I can't take this. It was very difficult. So, this is material life. This is the world that we're in. So if Krishna is very kind, why are we in this situation? We are in this situation because this material world is a house of correction. Or to put it bluntly, this is Krishna's creation of jail. That is the situation we're in now. And so that's why things here in the material world, at best, as described here, they have a beginning, they have an end. So the wise man, the devotee, the one that understands about Krishna, his nature, and the fact that the real creation or the manifestation of the Lord that we need to be going is back to Godhead, the spiritual world, no problems like that exist. So we try in so many ways to have pleasure. Well, so Srila Prabhupada is saying, devotees who know what's what, mystics and so on, they derive unlimited transcendental pleasures by connecting with the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead. And Ram means pleasure. Lord Ram, that is one name for the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna has so many names. So, the Srila Prabhupada quoted from Maharaj Shabbadev, Canto 5. Maharaj Shabbadev, Canto 5, Srimad Bhagavatam, is giving advice to his sons. He had 100 sons. And he says, my dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard just for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Very, very, very packed, very, very, very wise statement made here. He said, there's no reason to work very hard for sense pleasure. To give pleasure to our senses while we're in this human form of life. So the human form of life is not meant for sense pleasure, material sense pleasure. It's meant for self-realization. It's meant for connecting with Krishna. It's meant for leading life in such a way that we can go back to the spiritual world. That's what life in the human body is meant for. The human body is called an escape body. Why is it called an escape body? It is called an escape body because it is equipped with the level of intelligence by which we can understand Krishna. The rest of the types of bodies, and there are 8 million of them, non-human bodies, none of them can understand Krishna. Dogs and camels and hogs and donkeys and fish and trees, they cannot understand Krishna. And if you can't understand Krishna, you can't connect with Krishna, and if you don't connect with Krishna, you can't go back to the spiritual world. Which means all of these that we call nature, and sometimes we even admire nature, but those souls in those bodies that are non-human, they're not going anywhere. At least for one lifetime, and in many cases, it will be several lifetimes. They are stuck here in the material world. So, when a person, or when a soul finally gets put in a human body, it's a rare situation. It's actually a rare situation compared to all of those that are out there. And if we can go and talk about the numbers a little bit, the non-human bodies, the bodies of dogs and so on, trees and birds and so on, they number 8 million. 8 million. The types of bodies that are human, that can have that intelligence of understanding how to connect with God, 400,000. The non-human type that can never get out of the material world because they can't connect with Krishna, 8 million of them. Now, in percentages, the human type body, not includes demigods, angels, all of those categories of human. They are less than 5%. That's all. 400,000 is less than 5% of 8,400,000 entire total. So 95, just over 95% of the bodies that are available, you can't go home to put in any of those. If we are putting any of those. And it's not like we have a choice. If the decision is made that the person who was in the human body in one life is going to a dog body, Srila Prabhupada said, he even dramatized, he said, no, I don't want to go to a dog body. No, you will be forced into a dog body. We don't have that, we don't have choice. We may have desires, but when the decision is made as to what the next life is going to be, that's it. We have to go into that body. So, because of that, well, let me just say something that is a little bit more reassuring to us. Since now we made that statement, when the decision is made to go into a body that's non-human, then that's what's going to happen. We can't protest and get away from it. But a person that connects to Krishna consciousness, even remotely, and I'll explain what remotely means, they have a good chance of of getting a human body in the next life. Now, by remotely, I mean even a non-devotee that sees Lord Jagannath and the Rath Yatra, just seeing the Lord, they would put in a human body. If they were meant to go to an animal body or bird body next to them, just by seeing the Lord. This is how important Rath Yatra is. That's why we go to lengths to just get the Lord on a cart and out, so that even non-devotees that don't know that that particular bone is there, they still will get it by being around and seeing Lord Jagannath. When they take Lord Jagannath's prashadam, seeing the Lord, taking the Lord's prashadam, they will definitely come in a human body next life. And the chances are very high that they will also start with Krishna consciousness. They begin to accept Krishna consciousness teachings. Now, when that happens, that's up to the Lord. When that, we don't have any say in. So devotees go to the extent of getting all of these arrangements made for the Lord to come out, because there is so much benefit to all living entities that see the Lord. And they taste the Krishna Prasad also, Lord Jagannath's Prasad. So, with all of that now known, it makes more sense to connect with devotional service. And the great thing about devotional service is you never get bored. So overcoming boredom is actually connected to devotional service. Doing service for other devotees, serving other devotees, serving the spiritual master, and also serving the deity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You never be bored. Now, Maharaj Shabbadev is advising his sons. He says, don't go work so hard for just material sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Now we know why, at least some reasons. He says, rather you should undergo penances. You should undergo penances. So what does he mean by penances? Well, some of those are put into a devotee's life, things that we do. Things like rising up early. And let me say just a story about rising up early. And I saw there's a video of a morning walk. Srila Prabhupada had traveled to a particular place in the morning. He was walking with his devotees. And this is where the devotees ask all kinds of questions. Srila Prabhupada about cancer. And this whole thing is video, so I'm looking at it, looking at Srila Prabhupada's reaction and so on. And one person questions Srila Prabhupada, said, Prabhupada, why do we have to get up so early in the morning? And as soon as Srila Prabhupada heard the question, he stopped, he took his walking stick on the ground, turned around, and looked straight in the eye of that devotee to ask the question. And then he answered, aren't you the people that said, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man wealthy? Well, he couldn't even get all the words out, but he meant wealthy and wise, right? Healthy, wealthy, and wise. He couldn't get all three of them. He was firing with that, and that guy just kept quiet. He immediately defeated it. So, whether we see it as penances or not, getting up early and giving your time, as soon as you clean yourself, to Krishna by chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is a very, very excellent start of the day. Getting up early. That time, it's called a Brahma Muhurta time. It is the best time of the whole day. It's more in the mode of goodness than any other time. Many people that are passionate and in mode of ignorance, they are sleeping at that time. As soon as they get up, they start their thoughts and everything fill the atmosphere, and the atmosphere changes, becomes mode of passion, atmosphere, and mode of ignorance, atmosphere. But early in the morning, it's all mode of goodness. The air, the atmosphere is actually clean. So getting up, cleaning ourselves, rising up early, and doing that, chanting the holy name. Also, we obviously have material activities that we do every day. But when we come to Krishna consciousness, there are also spiritual activities that we have to be involved with. We just talked about one, chanting the holy name. Other services are there. And many times we get into situations, for some people many times, some people a few times, we get into situations where we have material activities, some things that we have to do, and then we also have our spiritual responsibilities. And sometimes we find that the time that we want to do them, those two things are clashing. I have material things to do, and I have also spiritual to do. And if you had an experience with Maya and everybody asks, the first thing that probably comes to the mind is, but there's this material thing that I have to finish by this time, and therefore then we want to postpone the spiritual thing. Never do that. You should give the priority to the spiritual. And what happens is that if we prioritize the spiritual activities over the material activities, then Krishna would actually set up the rest of the day such that our material activity that we wanted to do will get done. Not only will it get done, but it will get done in a way that we couldn't have conceived of ourselves. This has happened over and over and over again for those who know that whenever there's this much time, there's a spiritual thing to do, there's a material thing to do, and they choose the spiritual activity over the material activity, Krishna works out the material activity easily, in such a way that we couldn't have even thought of doing. Now here's the reason. Krishna is in the heart of everybody. So he knows everything that goes on. And the other thing is, he says in the scriptures, the extent to which you surrender, I reward accordingly. The extent to which you surrender, I reward accordingly. So part of surrender is to be aware of Krishna, remembering Krishna, and therefore choosing the spiritual activity in that time, when times of the essence, over the material activity. He says, because we do that, anyone who does that, he would be rewarded accordingly. So, my Guru Maharaj just said one time, he just put it this way, if we don't take if we don't take the spiritual activities more seriously, then our lives will be like business as usual. Business as usual meaning that the material things, I have to do that, I have to do this, it's all material lined up like that, and you're just going on. Then you're living like a typical non-devotee. There is no benefit. You cannot see the Krishna magic get displayed. Only when we give priority to Krishna and Krishna's activities, Krishna consciousness, do we see things happen unusual in our lives. That's how Krishna takes care of, takes charge of our lives. So that's there for everybody. You try it, you will find out. And then we'll be very happy, and then we realize Krishna is there, and he does in fact help and protect in so many ways. And that thought alone will never get us bored. We'll never be bored. Material people get bored because everything, just like it says in the Shastra, it has a beginning and has an end. So then we're trying to get something else, and something else, and something else, just to keep us going. That's why there's TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. People just work hard, and then, oh, Friday, I don't have work to go to on Saturday. So then they'll do what? Go to the bars, go to this place and that place, trying to gratify their senses. In the meantime, all of those sense gratification activities make the body weak and sometimes even unhealthy. For example, people go to bars, they drink, And of course, two things that happen in the body: drinking and gossiping. That's it. Drinking and gossiping. So gossiping does not help the tongue and the mind at all, because that's in nectar of instruction. Prajapati. What does drinking do? Well, in the immediate feeling that drinking brings is the feeling of I'm not shy anymore. I don't feel inhibited anymore. Anything that I want to say, I'll say, which means more prajapati, more gossip. And in the meantime, the physical body is getting weaker because the liver is being taxed. The liver is getting weaker and weaker because the liver it clears all of the poisonous stuff. And alcohol is in the poison category for the body. So, in spiritual life, we don't do new things externally. Every day we chant the same Hare Krishna mantra, worship the same deities, we study the same scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we're repeating the same thing, how could we experience happiness then? Well, it's called Leave It to Krishna. He has a way of definitely doing that. So if we keep searching for things from the outside within spirituality, then we will get bored. Then we will definitely get bored. Because spirituality is the internal, the effect is internal. Some of the activities may be external, so you see a pujari doing what he's doing, and then people have been chanting and so on. Those external, but the effect of it is internal. Internal means that the effect of it nourishes the soul, and the soul is eternal. It's in the heart. So the experiences that we gain or comes to our life, for lack of a better word, or spiritual activities, the activities themselves may remain the same, but the experiences are different. They get deeper and deeper and deeper. For example, if we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we are thinking about Krishna. We are absorbed in Krishna. The aim is not only to serve Krishna, that is the meaning of the mantra, by the way. Radha Krishna, please engage in devotional service to you. But because that mantra has that meaning, it also gives an intense, gradually builds an intense, loving connection between us and the Lord. Which means our love by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra increases and increases and increases. And a person that is in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is without a doubt a very happy person. A very happy person. And love is unlimited. So we can just go on doing things from our hearts, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and His devotees. We don't leave out devotees. Devotees is very important. Serving devotees too. And that will make us feel happier and happier and happier. And a happy person is never bored. Never bored. So the whole thing is about to remember Krishna and to serve Krishna. Remember Krishna by chanting His holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we can do our spiritual activities, but we should do it like chanting, taking the darshan with deities, studying scripture. We have to do it with full, intense remembrance of the Lord when we're doing it. It's almost like we're studying scripture, but we're also getting into it because we are actually a part of it. When you read Srila Prabhupada's books, you're connecting subtly with Srila Prabhupada himself. So that puts us in that mood, and in that mood of just the reverential mood, because he's Guru, of course, and we have to. Not only that, but it's also very cleansing. We learn, and it also cleanses our hearts, and it pulls us closer to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada's instructions in his books They do that. So when we are serving, this is what should be in our mind, which is our meditation. Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to do it to please Krishna. I'm trying, even when I'm chanting, I'm trying to do it to please Krishna, to serve Krishna, and to ultimately learn to love Krishna. Sri Nitai Gaura Chandra Ki Jai. So even if we were materially bored, for whatever the reason is, just by doing what we just talked about, doing it with the consciousness of pleasing Krishna, that boredom will go away. If anyone is bored, it will definitely go away. Now, if there are some activities in Krishna consciousness that we do that we like a lot, then the suggestion here, and it's a strong suggestion, don't stop doing it. Do more and more and more of it. If you like listening to bhajans, listening to kirtans, even particular tunes about the bhajans and kirtans to make you feel happy, please keep listening to that. Because it also helps, since you're connected with Krishna, it would also help build more love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees. So, the things that we do in Krishna consciousness that we like, not everything that we're going to like, but the things that we like, do more of it. The things that we're not really crazy about, materially, right? But still we do it to serve Krishna, we should do because that's part of our, as Maharaj Chabade said, that's part of our tapasya. That's part of our tapasya. And the fact of the matter is, if you love somebody, you don't mind going through inconvenience for them. If you love somebody. Therefore, we're learning to love Krishna. Therefore, whatever is inconvenient, but it's part of the devotional service, we should do it anyway. Because this is how we build our love. This is how we're telling Krishna, if we do that, that we are all for Him. And He said, as He said, the extent to which we surrender our bodies, our minds, in serving the Lord will reciprocate. He will let us know one way or the other. And He's very, very, very good at loving us back. We're the ones that are learning how to love, but the Lord knows how to love like anything. So, in that way, then we will be connected with Krishna. And so, the conclusion is, one, whatever we're doing in devotional service, we should also remember Krishna and do whatever we're doing as an offering of love for Krishna's pleasure. That's one. Whatever we do in our devotional service. And secondly, whatever in the spiritual circle, wherever we're doing, that gives us pleasure, we like to do more of it. So we can experience that spiritual happiness. That's an easy one. And that, through that, deepen our spiritual connection with Krishna. And that connection, that love, will then expand to all aspects of our spiritual life. Even those things that we weren't crazy about doing before, we do it anyway. In ISKCON, in many of these ISKCON centers, people who come new, and they'll tell you, you come and devotees know that you have to go through purification, those who are there already. So one of the tasks that's given to many devotees is they put you in the kitchen and they say, you wash the big pots. Everybody has seen it. We've been through it. I've been through it. I've seen my godbrothers do it. And those pans were heavy. And sometimes they're burnt underneath too. So things. But then you take, keep scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. And it becomes a challenge. How clean can we make this pan? And then some devotee will tell you, as you're scrubbing the pan, you're scrubbing all of the dirt in your heart too. And you go, what? It's like that? The answer is yes. Later on, we realize it's actually like that. That after we finish, there's some satisfaction that comes from having done that. So initially, there are some things that we don't even like so much. But by doing it just because it's for Krishna, remember when we have this big pan, big pot, and we cook rice and so even if the bottom gets burned, remember who gets it first? Not us. It goes on the altar, right? The Voga. So Krishna gets it first. So whatever thing that we did, Krishna gets it first. Therefore, we're washing to satisfy Krishna, ultimately. In Srimati Radharani's kitchen. So that's the consciousness with which we should approach service. Then it becomes devotional. Otherwise, it's just mundane service. Otherwise, there's not much to it. It's difficult. All right, yes, it's difficult. But it makes Krishna happy. Therefore, I'll do it. So there are some things, because we want to learn how to love Krishna, we go through that inconvenience. It's only material inconvenience. After a while, especially if you have your favorite bhajan or favorite kirtan playing and you turn it up and you're feeling good, and then you're doing the service, you'll get it done and you won't be feeling so much. So, let's take the worst case scenario. People who are really bored. How do you jumpstart and get out of this? All you have to do is, first, sadhusanga. Association with the devotee is very important. Just pick out a devotee who is quite enthusiastic and just imitate that person. That's all it takes. Whatever they do, you do. It's almost like a car whose batteries are low. What do? You take another car and you just jump start and the other car just kicks in. You just imitate. That's all. I had to learn the chant a little better by looking at devotees who did an time, japa time, and watching those who chant, they're into it, and they're watching what they're doing, their physical body movement, and I did the same thing, and I realized, it works. Chanting is more concentrated. More focused. So watch people who are enthusiastic. Better yet, even associate with them. And it will jumpstart our own enthusiasm. Finally, follow the instructions for spiritual life. Like it is a life or death situation. Everything that spiritual master tells us to do, everything that we get from hearing lectures, take it as a life or death situation. Because it is. Spiritually, it is. If we don't take it seriously, we will die and we will get another situation to have to die again. That means we take another physical body. But if we take it seriously, then Krishna will reward accordingly and the chances become high that we'll go back to the place, the spiritual world, that there is never any border. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have any questions? Devotees interested in asking questions? Or sharing realizations, some things that may have connected with what we were speaking about today?
Hare Krishna, thank you for talking about boredom, because I think sometimes we forget that we can get caught in this cycle of boredom and thinking that it's a normal way of life. The question I have is, when you're speaking about boredom, you were talking about something that we do physically to not make us feel bored. So something physical means like a service, like, and it's interesting that you mentioned just now, like, even, like for those of us who go for vacation, it's the same thing. It's just a different place, different country, different environment, but we do the same thing. It's just a different place, pretty much. So what is coming to my mind, this question is, because it involves something physical and how to, what we call dovetail, how to switch the material to spiritual, how important is service in spiritual life compared to just chanting and reading?
Well, chanting and reading actually is part of spiritual activities too, so maybe you want
What I'm saying is that is chanting and reading sufficient without devotional service?
very important question. Is chanting and reading sufficient without other devotional service? Actually, in the scriptures, it is said that just one of the activities, just one, done perfectly, can take us back to Godhead. One. So hearing, if we hear perfectly, we go back to Godhead. Chanting, if we chant perfectly, we go back to Godhead. The question is, do we do it perfectly? And how can we do it perfectly with imperfect senses, which is what we have? All defects, we already have imperfect senses. So what are the chances of us doing it perfectly? Chances are very minimal. Therefore, the other processes that are there, remembering, offering prayers, doing the deity worship, so many other activities, if they weren't there, then our spiritual credits would be so low from just chanting and reading that there's not much of a chance of us getting the mercy of Krishna to go back. Now, in short, the other activities help us to accrue or pile on more spiritual credits in order to get the opportunity to get the mercy of the Lord. The effort that we put in brings the mercy. Therefore, is chanting good? Absolutely. Hearing or reading good? Absolutely. But don't do only that. Do other services too, because we don't do any of those perfectly to be able to rely on any one of those to go back to the spiritual world. That's the issue. Therefore, we should involve ourselves in other services. And speaking about other services, the more menial the service is, the humbler we become and the more pleased Guru and Krishna will be with us. The more menial the services are. So don't ever get turned off by any service that's menial, cleaning, washing, wiping. Oh, I'm too high for that. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. No, that's the one that we should actually be more excited to do. We should be more excited to do because it helps us become more humble and it connects us with Krishna. By the way, in the spiritual world, nobody should ever think that I'm just sweeping the floor and this person is on the altar, he's pujaari, therefore he's more sophisticated devotee than me because the service that he's doing is more refined than mine. No. It is never looked at that way. Srila Prabhupada said it. In the spiritual world, devotional service is also absolute. In the same platform, the person that sweeps the floor of the temple gets same credits as the person that's on the altar. That you should remember. Don't ever think that. But if the person that does the menial service gets more in terms of their own humility. They're willing to do it. They're willing to do it. But never think that services that look menial have less credit than services that look more sophisticated. It doesn't work that way. Not at all. If Baba says, the person that sweeps the floor, he's just as important as the pujari. This is quoting Srila Prabhupada directly. The service is looked at the same because it's from the heart. It's from the heart. So a person that feels too big that they won't do any kind of menial service, they're actually hurting themselves. They're actually hurting themselves. You never ever think that way. And in Gitanagara, this is what Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Mother Klimi. She was on the altar 2 o'clock in the morning you get up, go milk the cows, come back, change, and be present for Mangalati, and after Mangalati he is on the altar. Blessed Lord Jagannath Subhadra. At some point, we were short of devotees. Mother Kamini was sweeping the ashram. And he is the topmost in terms of senior. He was sweeping. He never hesitated to do what he had to do to serve the service of power. Great example. So we'll never get bored. Never get bored. You do it for Krishna. Anything we do for Krishna, we'll never get bored. But yes, the other services are there because we don't do any of the services, especially chanting and reading, since we brought it out perfectly. Perfectly. So we need more to help us to get the mercy of the Lord. So all other services, jumping, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Any other questions or realization? There's one. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for such wonderful.
Beautiful.
So that is a wonderful point. By engaging ourselves in the service, we purify. If we don't engage, I see that the people will end up engaging somewhere else. So why not engage for the gives the ultimate benefit?
Very good. Very good.
Shravan Kirtan is there, but one cannot practice 24 hours reading and chanting. But one has to do some physical activity. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you cannot live 1 second without doing. So instead of engaging some other big member or running something other organization or doing any other activity, why not engage in devotional service that will give the eternal credit and help us to go back on track.
Yes, devotion, and yeah, that is the advantage. And this, so you ended it yourself that by doing that, we get the opportunity to get out of this place, which is so difficult, and go back to the spiritual world. Go back to the spiritual world. And so, just one thing I want to add, and that is, many of us have good jobs, and we're able to pay our bills, so that gives us some peace of mind. There are people who cannot pay their bills, who also live here on this earth. There are people who are homeless. They are also here on this earth. There are people that are in great anxiety because there are wars in their country. They also live on this earth. Just because in our situation it feels like we are okay, temporarily okay because we're going to die anyway, temporarily okay, it does not mean that this planet is a great place to be. Because we could just as easily be in those places where there's difficulty. We could just as easily, by karma, be in those places where there's difficulty. So the whole point is get out of this planet, especially of this whole material world, altogether. Altogether. Don't ever get kind of lured by the wealth that's in the United States. Therefore, I am okay. Because I am okay, then everything must be okay. Well, you're not an island. You're not by yourself here. No, there are difficulties everywhere. Yeah, so you have to get out of the material world. Just take Krishna consciousness seriously. Do all the kinds of service. Whichever one is jumping. The best is, even when you're not asked to do the service, but you see it and you do it anyway, because you saw it and you did it, that's the best. That's the best. Don't wait to be told. Just do it anyway. Krishna would really reward very nicely for a person who thinks like that and does like that. Thank you for the comment. Any final comments or questions? Okay, so thank you very much for coming. We all get purified. Now we know how to overcome boredom. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Hare Rama, Srivadi Charity Store, Saraswati Shimala's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnu Pad Brahma Srivadi Charity Store, Saraswati Shimala's Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki ISKCON of Harrisburg Shri Prabhupada Prem Shri Hoshri Krishna Chaitanya Bhagavat Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivacharya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Cham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Hare Krishna Mahamaya Ki Ramaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya. भगवान की प्रहलाद महाराज की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitya Gaurachandra ki. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki. We want to welcome you boys to our Sunday program. Thank you so much for coming out. We had a little bit of good weather. Now it's getting a little hot again. It goes back and forth. It's getting to August. We'll see more hot weather. That's just how it is. Like we heard, this is the material world. You know, it's never fixed. It's always ups and downs. We just gotta make the adjustment. You know, we turn on the AC, then we go out, we sweat again. Then we turn on the AC in the car, then we sweat again. That's just how the material world is, right? So, Hare Krishna. Few announcements. Would like to first welcome people to the Sunday program. August is going to be a pretty exciting month. Again, you know, sometimes we think one festival is over, then we are done, then we can take a break. But as we heard in the class by Prakshit Prabhu, you know, there is no boredom in spiritual life. It always keeps us going busy, always engaging us, so that we don't get bored. And that is how we learn how to use our time in Krishna service. So we have actually 4 festivals in the month of August. Quite a bit. So if you're not receiving our e-bulletins, please do come see me and we'll add you onto our e-bulletins. But you will definitely see this also coming out of the e-bulletins. We have never done this before. This is our first time, and I'm happy that we're doing it because I think it's a nice start. So we will be celebrating Julan Yatra, the first day and the last day, not just the last day. So August 15th, which is Thursday? Okay. It's a Thursday. We will have an evening program for the first day of Julan Yatra. We will have Radha Shraddha Hari coming out, and we will start swinging them on the first day. That's how it's supposed to be. We start on the first day. And we have that will be a festival in itself. It will be a 6 o'clock evening festival, so please do mark your calendars. Again, we'll set it up in the e-bulletin so you can mark your calendars. August 19th, which is Monday. I don't have my days correct. We will have Balaram Jayanti. That is also the last day of Julan Yatra. So we'll have it twice. Now, if weather permits, we will have the first day of Julan Yatra, which is the swinging festival, and the last day of Julan Yatra outside, under the tree. Okay? It's a very special sweet exchange. Very, very, very sweet exchange. So if the weather permits, we'll have the first day and the last day outside. And August 19th being the 5th day will be the last day of Julan Yatra and the birthday of Balaram Jayanti, of Lord Balaram. The week after that is August 26th, and that is Janmashtami. And that one starts at 7 p.m. and it's on a Monday, the day after our Sunday program. It's on a Monday. So we are actually going to be sending out an email requesting the board to help us with cut-up, because our Janmashtami is our second biggest festival. The first is Rath Yatra. Janmashtami is our second biggest festival. We get a lot of devotees, and a lot of devotees face hungry stomachs. So we need a lot of help for cut-up, and we're going to be sending out the sign-up sheets for cut-up, and it's going to start the Sunday, August 26th, Sunday afternoon. Then we can keep all the cut-ups going, because it's going to be very easy for the cooks to cook on the day of Janmashtami. So please do mark your calendars for that. And the day after that, afternoon, yes, Sunday afternoon. Yeah. And the day after Janmashtami is Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. That's the evening program. So again, we have a lot of festivals coming up. Quite a bit of festivals, quite a bit of, we cannot say, I'm bored. Because we are not going to be bored. That is how the Lord works. Keeps us busy, keeps us engaged in devotional service, so that we can always remember the Lord. That is the purpose of our life, is how can we remember the Lord all the time? And the only way is engaging ourselves in devotional service. The more we do service, it's very hard to not remember the Lord. Very, very difficult. So please mark these 4, major festivals. And again, we will be sending out the sign-up sheets for Kara. Also for Janmashtami, Varsha Mataji is not here, she's not well, but we are going to have Chapanbhog for Janmashtami. So that's also in the works. It's a lot going on. So please, you will see a lot of emails coming, because it's 4 major festivals in 1 month, actually in 2 weeks actually. And it's going to be a lot of information. So if you get confused and lost, please come contact me, come see me. I'll try to unwire the confusion. So please come, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening on that day, especially for Janmashtami. It gets really, really, really busy. So that's one. Another thing that I'm putting out is I'm trying, but I don't know how. But I need the help of young people. I'm trying to put a drama together for Janmashtami, but I need actors and actresses. So if you're interested in being in the drama, please come see me after the program. Because we need to start practices. It'll be a very, very nice offering to the Lord for Janmashtami. One more thing I forgot, just thinking about Janmashtami is, even on Janmashtami day, the temple is going to be open all day for darshan. The deities will not be put to rest. The only time they'll be put to rest, you died on me. The only time they'll close the curtain is when they have their meals. It's about 45 minutes they'll open up. So the Lord, so then they'll be open throughout the day. And because Janmashtami is on a Monday, we are requesting devotees. It will be very, very auspicious, like what we did for Gaur Purnima this year, I think. It will be very, very auspicious if we all can start our Janmashtami by taking darshan of the Lord in the morning. Very, very auspicious. That is how we engage ourselves in devotional service. If we go to Vrindavan, it's an all-day affair. They start at 4:30 in the morning. They go to the temple at 4:30 in the morning, and they take darshan of the Lord on Janmashtami, and the whole day they engage in service. And that is how we should be remembering the Lord. And yes, Vaishnavas do fast all day, and they break their fast at midnight. And we think, oh my God, how am I going to fast all day? The solution is engaging in devotional service. If we engage in service all day, we won't think of food. And by the time we are going to break fast, we'll say, I'm not hungry. I just lost my hunger. It just happens that way. It really does, So engage yourself. So my humble request to devotees is, if we can take at least an hour or 2, off from our work, any of our obligations, come and start Janmashtami, taking darshan of the Lord, and then if you have to go to work, go to work. But you have seen the Lord in the morning, you see, and then you go to work, and then you come back in the evening, and the whole day you're going to be thinking of Krishna. I want to go to the temple for Janmashtami. I want to go to the temple for Janmashtami. You get so excited that you're like, I can't wait to finish whatever so I can come to the temple for Janmashtami. That should be the excitement and the enthusiasm. That's what's going to keep us going. It's all that service. And also, first time we're trying this in this temple. It's the first time, but it's not a new thing. Prabhupada started that in 1966, actually. In all ISKCON temples, when Janmashtami, they read Krishna book. And they would, I love it, so sweet. So we are going to send out sign-up sheet from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's a half an hour slot. You can come and choose any time of the day you want. Come and read Krishna book to the deities. Anytime, choose any slot. That the emails will be come out in about a week or so, probably within a week. and you can just sign up, okay, I can do 10 a.m., 10:30, or I can do 12 to 12:30, or I can do 3 to 3:30 or something. Half an hour. Sacrifice half an hour. We do so much sacrifices for our boss, right? See, we do so much sacrifice for our whatever, our boss, our supervisors, our managers, our husbands, our wives, our children. Why not for Krishna? Sacrifice. Go out, get out of the comfort zone. Come and read Krishna book. Sign up and come. And when you sign up, please show up 5 minutes before so you can get ready, because the person that has finished reading will tell you where they ended and you continue from there. And as the whole time, just imagine, how many of you have read bedtime stories to your children when they were young? Same thing you're doing for Krishna. You're just going to sit there and you're going to read Krishna book to the deity. It's the exact same thing. It's just that it's much more sweeter, because you're reading to Krishna, you're reading to the Lord about His pastimes, how it all happened, why He came. Beautiful thing. So it's like I said, it's new to this temple, but it's a very old tradition that Prabhupada started in 1966. And we are going back to how Prabhupada used to do things, because over time we forget what he did, how he did. So we need to remind ourselves, oh my God, yeah, Prabhupada did this, Prabhupada did this, Prabhupada did this. So you'll see a lot of emails coming out. So please, if you get confused, you get lost, please do come see me. But it's going to be a very busy month in the month of August. And lots of festivals, lots of opportunities for service. Lots. Quite a bit of opportunity for services. Time for us to really throw ourselves in for service and engage ourselves and remembering Krishna 24/7. Beautiful time. And before we conclude, 2 more announcements. Sunday school is going to be starting up on September 8th. Around the corner, matter of time, within like 5 weeks. And we're going to be opening up Sunday school registration on August 11th. This time we are going to be stricter. We really need parents to sign up. Last year we had few parents signing up late. It caused a lot of disturbance for the teachers. We don't do this to the public school teachers, but we do it to our teachers. And that's not the way to treat our teachers. It's a lot of work, believe me. And these teachers are volunteers, They don't get paid for the service. They're volunteers. So if the deadline is a certain date, if we sign up, we will humbly tell you, wait for next year. We don't like to do that, but we need to respect the teachers, what they go through, all the preparation they go through. It is not easy. Put ourselves in the shoes of the teachers and think, can I do the service? I should be really, respecting the other teachers. So please mark your calendars. Again, that's going to come out in the e-bulletins. That will open up Sunday school registration on August 11th. The first day of Sunday school is Sunday, September 8th. Please spread the word. If you have friends that would like to bring their kids, please have them join us. But again, make sure that they sign up, because after the date, we humbly have to say no, because it has caused a lot of confusion last year for the teachers. And it hurts me to see them, going a little bit, out of unprepared. It throws them off quite a bit. So let's be sensitive to that. Last but not the least is we are short of help for cleaning services today. A couple of devotees are not well. So if anyone can spare extra half an hour or so after prasadam to help us clean upstairs and downstairs, that would be great. The more hands we have, the quicker it will go than just 2-3 hands. So please do extend yourself if you can to help clean up upstairs and downstairs. So that would be a big help. Before we end, if you can say the prasadam prayers, and then we'll go down for prasadam and take darshan devi. Sorry.
Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Svartapujyavatam Rajan Vishwasane Jayate Sharira Vidyajar Jo Indriya Dahe Kal
kindly request you to, I'm going to say the text, and so please repeat after me. Yay! He! Shamsmasha!
Thank you.
Huh?